It's definitely fall because I have my cozy sweater, my cozy blanket, my tea. It is feeling great outside and I'm loving it. Hi guys, and welcome back to What Fuels a Dancer. My name is Leah and I am a professional ballet dancer and a certified nutrition health coach. In today's video, we're going to talk about being vegan or vegetarian as a dancer. This is something that I have personal experience with, and so I'm going to kind of let you guys into my personal experience as well as the right and the wrong way to go about it. We're also going to talk about why someone would want to go vegan or vegetarian in the first place and how intuitive eating can actually play a role in it as well. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below because it really supports me and this channel, and make sure to keep watching. And just as the usual disclaimer, this video is for education and entertainment purposes only. Everybody is different with different nutritional needs and preferences when it comes to food, so it's always best to talk to your doctor or nutrition professional like a dietitian, nutritionist, or health coach about your unique case. I want to start off right away by saying just because you are vegan or vegetarian doesn't mean that you're actually healthy. You can have a balanced and mindful approach towards going vegan or vegetarian, or it can be really restrictive and cause some nutritional deficiencies if you aren't careful. Some people might decide to go vegan or vegetarian for not the greatest reasons or motivations, which can have a negative effect on your physical and mental health, as well as your relationship with food and with your body. Food isn't black or white. There's kind of this gray area that we live in, which means that what works for one person isn't going to work for someone else. Food is nuanced, so there's not a right or wrong way to eating that will blanket apply to everyone. So with all that being said, let's define a few terms that can help us understand what it means to be vegan or vegetarian. A vegetarian doesn't consume any sort of meat, poultry, or fish. So they eat all the plant-based foods like whole grains, beans, nuts, legumes, vegetables, and fruit, but then they also include eggs and dairy products in their diet if they choose to. And then vegans are kind of one step further where they don't eat any animal foods altogether. So it's all plant-based foods. So again, like whole grains, beans, nuts, seeds, legumes, veggies, and fruit, but they don't have any sort of animal products like meat or fish, eggs, or dairy products. For many, being vegan also incorporates more of a lifestyle element in terms of not buying products that are made with other animal byproducts like leather, and ultimately just being more conscientious of their lifestyle choices that they make and how that affects the environment and animals. There are even more restrictive styles of vegetarian and veganism that eliminate foods like salt, oils, fat altogether, or are low fat and high carb, and we're not going to be diving into those today. Neither is Louie, apparently. Because a lot of those are steeped in more so diet culture, and ultimately just aren't a balanced approach to eating. So a plant-based diet is a more generic term that can cover vegetarianism and veganism in the fact that the individual primarily eats foods that are from plant sources, whether it be all plant-based foods or mostly plant-based foods with a little bit of animal sources of foods as necessary. So some reasons that people might decide to cut out animal sources in their food might be financial reasons, economic reasons, environmental or animal cruelty reasons, or honestly, just based on personal preference. So I want to talk briefly on my personal experience with becoming vegan and being plant-based on here, because I think it encompasses the right way as well as the wrong way to go about it, as well as my approach to it in bringing intuitive eating into the way that I eat. So I first tried veganism when I had dislocated my knee in 2014. I obviously wasn't dancing, and so I was doing a bunch of research as to what kind of foods can help my body in terms of healing and inflammation levels. So I read a lot of articles and I watched a lot of videos about veganism, and I also learned that it not only helped some people with these issues, but I also saw that it helped people who experienced disordered eating. I'm not going to go over my personal experience with disordered eating here, so if you want that video, make sure to leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to make that. So I was experimenting a lot with smoothies and a lot of different vegetables and sources of protein that I had never tried before, and I really liked the foods that I was eating. I really enjoyed them and I thought that they tasted really great, but looking back, I can see that I was still too restrictive in terms of the amounts of food that I ate, and I was restrictive of fat and protein as well. So it wasn't a balanced vegan diet. I was trying to eat really cleanly, or what I defined as clean, so I wasn't eating super balanced in terms of macronutrients. When I started dancing professionally that fall, I stopped eating vegan, one, because I didn't have enough energy because I wasn't eating enough and because I wasn't eating enough fat and protein, and also just the social aspect of it. I wanted to be able to have dinner with other people and go to restaurants and feel more normal, I guess, and not have so many people question my food choices. So I started incorporating animal products into what I was eating again. And after about a year of that, I realized that I wasn't really feeling that great, and these foods weren't necessarily ones that these animal products weren't necessarily ones that I craved. I just thought that, I just wanted to eat more normally, I guess. So over the next few years, I started eating more plant-based meals again, and I really started focusing on finding a balance in terms of macronutrients and making sure that I was eating enough. And this was also about the time that I found out about intuitive eating and started incorporating those practices into my meals and snacks and just how I approached food in general. So at the beginning of the second time going vegan, I wasn't as restrictive as I was before, but I was still in the process of breaking down food rules that I had when I saw what I ate and also how I viewed my eating habits and my body. So over the past 3 years, I have slowly been learning how to have a balanced approach when it comes to food, mostly with the help of intuitive eating. And I've also developed a healthy relationship with food and with my body without restriction. And I continue to eat plant-based now because those are the foods that I really like, and that's what makes my body feel its best. If I do have animal products, whether because that's what's being served to me or I want to try something, typically I don't really enjoy it as much as I enjoy the normal foods that I eat, and I don't necessarily feel the best afterwards. I absolutely love plant-based foods, and that's what my body loves, and that's what my cravings are geared towards. And I don't restrict based on macronutrients, calories, or processed foods. That being said, I'm never going to put myself in a box and say that this is the way that I am always going to eat or am going to eat forever, because just as your body changes, my body will change over time as well. And so what it needs down the road might be different than what it needs now. So over time, my cravings and what I need from food will probably change over time. So for example, a few years ago, I was really craving eggs for about a week. So I had a few eggs and that was kind of it. I didn't want them anymore and I haven't wanted them since. So that's a really good way of me showing that I'm still mostly plant-based, but if my body needs something or if I'm craving something in particular, I'm not going to deprive my body of it. If my body is craving certain foods or nutrients, I don't want to restrict those from my body based on principle. I truly believe that when we listen to our bodies and follow a balanced approach to eating, we will listen to our hunger cues and cravings, and we will truly be able to enjoy our food and also fuel our bodies for things like dancing. Going plant-based is a very personal decision, and so it might not be the right one for you. And it's also not all or nothing. You might enjoy having a plant-based breakfast or snack or lunch throughout the day, but you might also still really enjoy having some animal-based foods in your diet. So for you, maybe you just want to try eliminating more animal foods while still keeping some that you know that your body loves. You can eat intuitively while being vegetarian or vegan by listening to your hunger cues and cravings and paying attention to the hunger and fullness scale while eating. So if you want to learn more about those topics, I will link them up here. They are in my intuitive eating series. So this also means listening to your cravings without having any sort of guilt or shame when it comes to what your body wants and what you fuel your body with. And this also means focusing on how your body feels rather than focusing only on your physical appearance. If eating vegetarian or vegan means that it makes you feel your best, then great. This means that refraining from eating animal foods is purely on the basis of your personal preference and not based on diet culture or food rules. So this brings me to the reasons and circumstances of when I don't recommend a dancer going vegetarian or vegan. If you are struggling with disordered eating or food rules, this might not be the best way of eating for you. Eating plant-based can be another way in which dancers enforce control over their eating. And as we have seen, exercising this control over your food can lead to a poor relationship with food and your body and lead to disordered eating patterns and behaviors. If you're choosing to eat this way because you think that it's cleaner, this can also lead to disordered eating patterns as well. And it can also lead to anxiety surrounding food decisions because you're constantly trying to decide on what foods are good enough and what foods are not good for your body, purely based on food rules that you have either seen online or have seen someone mention, or just ones that you have made up for yourself. Another unhealthy reason of why dancers might go vegetarian or vegan is to look a certain way, and then believing that cutting out animal products will get you there. This can be a common reason why dancers try going plant-based, but I don't encourage dancers to do this if purely their looks are the only goal for trying to go plant-based. Again, this can lead a poor relationship with food and with your body because you're focusing on physical change over how your body is feeling and how it's functioning. All of these lead us away from intuitive eating because we are trying to override our body's cravings and cues. So again, I have so many videos on intuitive eating for dancers, so I will link them all down below, so be sure to check those out. And so lastly, in talking about going plant-based or vegan, I want to talk about some things to look out for. So number one, kind of as we just talked about, it's important to assess why you are choosing to go vegetarian or vegan. If it's going to encourage food rules and disordered eating patterns and take you away from listening to your body, then it's not the best option for you. It's also important to talk to your doctor or nutrition professional about any major diet changes that you are undertaking to be sure that you are maintaining your optimal nutrition to keep your body strong and healthy during dance. Things like regular blood work might be required just to make sure that all of your nutritional markers are staying in a good range. They can also work with you for any nutritional deficiencies that you might currently have or ones that you might develop in the future. Now, this doesn't mean that going plant-based or vegan means that you're going to gain some nutritional deficiencies, but there might need to be some more thought that goes into planning your meals and snacks to make sure that you cover all of your bases. For me, I take several supplements to support my body, and these I have needed while eating animal foods as well as eating plant foods. So it's really about knowing your body and working with nutrition and health professionals to make sure that your body stays in optimum health. So that's going to be it for this video today. And I know I didn't specifically talk about foods and macronutrients when it comes to being vegetarian or vegan. I'm going to create another video that talks all about that. I thought it would be helpful to kind of split this up into two parts. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below so you don't miss that next video. And as always, make sure you're following me on Facebook and Instagram at What Fuels the Dancer. And I will see you guys all in a few weeks with a new video. Bye, guys.
Hello. Yeah?
This happens like every video.
I don't know why you shouldn't be surprised by now.
All right, there he goes.